Hi there, and welcome to Screech Commentaries. My name is David Baron von Fabulous Lark, and this is my co-host.
Callum, the good Doctor Young.
And today, once again, we're bringing you some of the KOTE Top Cut. And do you want to tell me who we've got playing today, Callum?
Yeah, so we have Keyforge Granada versus Lick All. I'm going to start with Bjork Aura Philosopher de Man Ikyomo.
Very
Didn't say
nice,
that
very
right, but
nice.
it wasn't. But it does translate as Bjork Aura Madhouse Philosopher.
Oh, that's a
Being
cool
played
name.
by, it is cool, being played by Campus White of Keyforge Granada.
Indeed.
So we have some AOA, very high SAS of AOA, which has
Yep,
got me
and
quite interested.
uncharacteristically, very high SAS AOA that has neither Mars nor Brobnar, where you have that the Drummernaught combo often coming up as very high AOA, and
Yeah,
also you have the obviously Genka, Martial Generosity key
yeah,
abduction combo. This does neither of those.
or Brig. So none of the
Yeah.
big AOA combos that you usually see. So, but what does it have? Let's start with the Dis.
I was going to start with the Sanctum actually. I'm going to overrule you there, Callum. I'm going to
Okay,
start with
all
the
right, fair
Sanctum.
enough. All right.
Um,
So, double free markets is the first big thing.
yeah, I think the Sanctum here, uncharacteristic of a lot of Sanctum, is the Ember generation this can potentially provide is excellent. Like you just mentioned, the double free markets. We'll do a slight spoiler here. The other deck is I believe, mass mutation deck,
Yep.
and there isn't many houses shared. I believe only the Dis is shared. So this free market
Yes.
has the potential to be very big and get you a lot of Ember.
Yeah, and you've got two golden aura to
Mhm.
just reap with something out of house to
Yeah.
contribute to that quick gen.
Or fight
Uh,
if you want. Don't
or
have to.
fight, yeah. And then,
Very different
well, we're
kind of
talking.
things we think of there, isn't it?
We were talking about Ember Generation, right? So
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
is why I went to read. But you could fight, although with the Dis and the Shadows, you might not fight that much with
No,
them.
probably not.
But then stuff like Take Hostages, Potion of Vulnerability, Blinding Light, got pips,
Yep.
and then the rest of it is just sort of capture-y creatures, right? So
Yeah.
Bordan, Maruk, and then sort of a couple of Sanctum classics, Grey Rider, Line Boutrum,
Exactly.
uh,
But yeah.
classic Taunt.
Yeah, just like it's very kind of classic Sanctum, but with the double free markets, the blinding light as well often comes in handy. So can choose a house, stun each creature of that house. Again, not many houses shared, so only very easy to
Yeah,
just stun your opponent's creatures, so none of yours.
yeah. I'm always happy to see Blinding Light in a deck if I'm opening it or playing it. But
I'm
I think,
sorry,
no,
you go.
not fun.
I'm
Uh,
generally just happier with the other stun a lot of things Sanctum card. I forget the name of it, but it's the one that does everything not on a flank.
Radiant Truth.
Radiant Truth, that's the one.
Yeah, I think that probably is better, but I guess that's why that's an uncommon as opposed to a common.
Yeah, the thing with Radiant Truth is it just kind of it means that they generally have to take more than one turn to unstun everything, whereas
Yeah,
Blinding Light,
fair.
yeah.
Either way, still pretty good.
Oh, very good.
Okay, what do you want to do next? Disc of
Let's go for the
Shadows.
disc. Let's go for the disc next.
All right, so first things first, two board wipes, big in the current meta,
Yep. And they're
and
good board as well.
contributing.
Got Key to Dis, which is a
Yep.
rare. If you've not seen it, sacrifice Key to Dis, destroy each creature. It's also an Omni though, so you can put this on the board and choose exactly when you want to hit your Key to Dis.
Yeah, it can be very strong. Um, you got the Unlock Gateway,
Yeah, which is an
which
Omega, which you don't see as much Omega in the newer sets actually. You still see quite a bit of Alpha, but very rarely Omega.
they've drifted away from it a little bit. I think they
Mm.
basically took three chains off Gateway to this and made it Omega, which I think is just a quite reasonable trade off.
Yeah.
But board clear is very important, and then a lot of just sort of not mind blowing, but generally good
Yeah.
dis actions and creatures. So
Yeah.
Cull the Weak, Binding Irons, Charette, classic capture 3, Dust Imp is good, Tesmal for a bit of disruption.
Yeah, and it's a lot of like really good things to exhume as well. You've got three running wrist slots
Yeah,
you can exhume. You've got a Grey Rider you can exhume. Can be really helpful. A Lion Bountrum. I'd be very
Charette,
happy
Charette,
with.
Shula, Tesmal, all
Yeah,
good.
yeah, lots of targets that you'd be that your opponent would be like, oh, don't bring that back, please.
Yeah,
Um,
quite a few.
yeah, so
Uh,
I think like not a mind blowing disc, but the kind of disc that just will do exactly what you need it to. One card
yeah,
that maybe is worth discussing here actually though is Old Yerk. Could actually be quite handy. It's choose and discard two cards from your hand. This is a matchup where neither deck has much speed, so just being able to
at
get rid
all.
of like non-useful cards could actually be quite important.
Yeah, just a little bit extra efficiency.
Mm.
I mean, I love efficiency, so this match is going to be like wading through treacle for me.
I'm much more
Anything
of a
under
fan of a slower game, so I'm perfectly fine.
anything under 10 efficiency is too slow.
Refuse to get out of bed for it, even really.
So shadows, and this is classic shadows. It's going to steal all your ember.
Yeah.
Like
This Shadows is
TMTP,
coming to steal your girl or boy, depending on your preference, and it's going to take
TMTP.
no prisoners.
Yeah, TMTP, triple Ronnie. So it's going to be very difficult to forge a key if you have more than 6.
Yep. Also have guard disguise as well.
Disguise.
So if you have less than 6 or less than 3 in this case, still going to steal all your ember.
Yeah. A little Nif, interestingly.
Yep, so Little Nif is another Omega. It's deploy elusive after a neighbor. Little Nif used to fight, steal 1. And there is some creatures that could be used to fight. If you can get this next to, say, a Maruk, next to a Maruk that's got a Grey Rider next to it even, you could do some real damage with this.
So we can kind of see what the tech's going to do. It's going to generate ember with the free markers in the Sanctum, whilst using the Dis to disrupt and the shadows to make it incredibly difficult for your opponent to forge a key.
Yeah, I think one further thing to mention, though, just as a bit of a combo that might come about, is that you've got stuff like the Bordan, the Maruk, the Charette, that can all capture Ember, and you've got the key to Dis. And I've got to think what we might be seeing Bjork's pilot trying to do is maybe picking the exact moment to play that key to Dis and be able to hit that too much to protect and steal a lot of the Ember that they've been capturing. And I think we might be seeing a bit of that too.
Yeah, especially if you set it with a lash of broken dreams beforehand.
Exactly, because I think that's what the thing with this deck is that it's you can't just like sit at 7 or 8 either, because you've got stuff like those Ronnies, you've got the lash of broken dreams, you've got the Charettes, you've got so many ways of just taking you back off that like little thing. You really have to go put your neck out a bit and risk this too much to protect.
Yeah. Let's give that frustrating dance. So let's look at Lick All and their deck.
Yeah. Just before we do, I'll quickly show you Scowly Caper if anyone's not seen it. It's another rare. Scowly Caper enters play under your opponent's control. It can be used as it belongs to any house. At the end of your turn, destroy one of Scowly Caper's neighbors. So the kind of card that's really hard that you stick on your opponent's board, it's really hard for them to get rid of, and just systematically just keeps destroying cards next to it. Very
handy board control. So here we have Quinman's deck for Lick All. Which Google Translate tells me is Wilhelmina Gibbs, the Elk Emperor.
Oh.
Maybe. Does sound pretty cool.
That is cool.
So let's start with the Saurians.
Yes.
Where you have a bunch of annoying Saurian creatures that you're going to have to deal with. So
I love it so
much. Scylla and Charybdis.
Yep.
To stop you either reaping or fighting or making
Scylla is each enemy creature gains reap, deal 4 damage to this creature, and when you look at the Granadan deck, a lot of their creatures have less than 4 power, so this could be very punishing if they're trying to reap.
Absolutely.
And Charybdis is each enemy creature gains before fight lose 1. So we were talking about how like some of the stuff they could do there with the fighting with the Maruks and stuff. Charybdis is going to be like, nah, mate, don't want to fight.
So they're just incredibly annoying 7 power creatures to deal with. Then you've got double Faust to rack up their key cost.
You do.
You've got double Thero to just keep capturing your Ember. Constant Primus to move it around.
You've got the CSI if you want to put on those sunglasses and create a crime scene. You can do that. And you've got the Ludo as well. So once you've done all that, you can just say, well, if you want a board clear, you're going to have to clear away all your Ember too.
So some big chunky boys. A lot of Ember capturing.
Yep.
Classic Saurians. Then we will look at the Untamed, which is where I think the Ember generation in this deck is going to come from.
It is, yeah.
Because you've got sort of the Song of the Wild, you've got the Wild Bounty with a few good targets for it, including a double Pip Rapid Evolution and a Reclaim by Nature with a draw, and sort of Dark Fairy.
Yeah, I think
Embers by Mongrel.
The only trouble with the Song of the Wild is that you've got a lot of very small creatures in the Untamed. Your biggest creature is a Fandangle and an Emberspine Mongrel, which are both 3 power. Yeah. So managing to keep them alive long enough to get a big on the Wild off seems
probably unlikely. But the Gloriana's Attendants and the Wild Bounty put 6 pips just into the deck.
They do indeed.
It's generally pretty helpful.
Yeah. And quite a few of those have gone into the Dis, which I think we can now talk about. The only thing I maybe to mention is you do have Reclaim by Nature, so there's quite a few artifacts in Bjork that I think the Reclaim by Nature would be very happy to
Guard
liberate.
disguise, keep to this, lash of broken dreams.
Yeah, exactly. All the things we
All
were
at
talking
high
about.
risk.
Yeah.
But you do have a break key with 3 pips on it.
You do
Which is
indeed.
fun.
Yep. And also some interesting some interesting board clears. I'm going to say that in inverted commas. You might be able to hear it inside my voice, but I'm also doing it with my hand. Because you've got stuff like you've got a Dance of Doom, which is a rare. Choose a number, destroy each creature with power equal to that number. And you've got 2 harvest times.
Yeah, I like Harvest Time as a card. I think it's interesting design because you purge something rather than just destroy it, which is big, but you pay the cost of giving them an ember. You can use it to destroy their creatures, or you can purge some of your own for a quick burst, or to get it out of the deck.
You can. And
I could see this being used to purge in this matchup because you have triple Infernus.
Yeah.
So you are able to give them Ember and then just make it go away.
And I think Triple Infernus is important both for the Ember control that we all know Infernus can do and can do very well. Yeah. But also with the Exhumes in the opponent's deck, you might see Infernus just wanting to hit stuff like those running risk locks that we were talking about, like those Grey Riders, and just wanting this to not be able to be Exhume targets. And I think that's quite likely.
But there is a triple pip break key floating around in your own discard pile, which makes a very tasty Infernus target.
Yeah, and especially that's good when you've got stuff like your Faust the Great on hand, where if they've got an early key for 6 and they've kind of got ahead of you a bit, you can break key that key off and have had set up your big board ready to make the keys nice and defensive.
That could be pretty bad.
That could indeed.
All right.
So who do you think's going to win this matchup then, Callum?
That's an interesting question because I think it's going to be a high skill game just because neither deck has any speed. So you have to get absolutely the max value out of all of your plays.
No, there is going to be a lot of careful play. I think like you've got one draw icon in the deck we're looking at now, and you've got the
solitary old Yerk
in Bjork. So yeah, we're going to be getting hands, and you're going to have to deal with the hands as they come. You're not going to be able to do much with them.
I'd be willing to believe that Bjork is going to take it because I think it's incredibly hard to play around the TMTP Ronnies. It has a lot of tools to set that up. It can generate a lot of non-board Ember pretty quickly, and I think has the clears to deal with the Saurians. Stuff like Unlock Gateway, Scowly Caper, maybe a key to this, but I think that it could easily get reclaimed.
I'm gonna disagree with you here, and I'm gonna say that I think what you're saying is true, and I think like I can fully see that happening. But I think my trouble is here that with the triple Infernuses, with the Marks of Dis, with your Snorets, like you've got so many ways of like capturing Ember and either capturing Ember or just straight up destroying their Ember. That even if they do get that big TMTP off, there's no guarantee it's going to win them the game. And I think this deck definitely has the tools to then kind of like claw that back after they do that. And I just think like the amount of capture and steal and Ember destruction in this deck means that it's going to be able to just get set up, kind of power through any board clears they have, and then just kind of start to slowly ratchet up and win the game.
All right, let's find out which of us is correct.
Indeed. Hi everyone, and welcome to the game portion of the episode. We have Quinman at the top of the screen, and we have Campos White at the bottom of the screen. And we do see a mulligan straight off the bat here from Campos, not happy with his opening hand there. And looking at Quinman's hand, I could see a mulligan here. You maybe don't want the Infernus and the Snoret this early, the Faust you maybe want later. And we do see that mulligan into a much better hand, I will go on a limb and say.
Yeah, that is much better. You sort of drop maybe the Ludo's a bit early, but Charybdis is pretty good. It's a big board.
We do. I was about to say we expect to see the Charybdis come out early, bit of a statement of intent. We do see that.
Not a great hand for Campos.
No, I'd be tempted just to put up the Dust Imp, maybe set up for like a life for a life next turn with it. But no, we're going to see the Sanctum. But it's not a great situation, really. That's better, though.
That's more what you want to see.
Yeah, that is indeed more like it.
I assume still Saurians.
Yeah, I would think so here. Maybe looking to like build up to a bit of Ember, ready to hopefully get a Fandangle out on an Untamed turn next turn and kind of get a bit of a setup there, I'm thinking.
Yeah, seems about right.
And have the Charybdis go chomp, 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 and nom on that Shallow the Safeguard.
Doing a big chomp.
Doing a heckin' big chomp. Heckin', word of the day.
Scylla and Charybdis, of course, referencing some
Interesting going for the stomp on the Shallow here. And then going to go for the Reef on the Charybdis, leaving the Shallow alive, puts the Ludo down, and just the Humble to make that.
Just exhausting it for now.
Yeah, making that Shallow really, really tired, having a little sleep.
Feeling humble.
Mm-hmm. And we are going to see the disc coming out here.
What's interesting about Scylla and Charybdis is they redid the art because they're both like big monsters, whereas in the myth, one of them was a giant whirlpool.
They were, yes, that's very true. Also interesting, you can see the tail of Charybdis in Scylla's art as well, if you look.
Indeed they are.
I always quite like the little ones where it's kind of like two cards but with like the same arts. You got like the Hyde and Vellum, the Vinder sisters.
Odd Claude and even Ivan.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always quite a fan of those little kind of like tied together arts. It's quite nice.
That's good.
We do see some more. So we see some shadows in Campos' hand that he's drawn into here. Probably doesn't want it this early though. This isn't ideal, and we are just seeing this Saurian board build up and up and up. And I think we may be seeing. Would you play the? We do see the CSI. I think there might have been an argument to hold on to that a little bit longer, and getting 2 Ember off it isn't ideal, but probably one not to clog up the hand is a luxury.
They're probably not getting the Ember back anytime soon. And yeah, when you've got a deck that's this lacking in terms of draw, anything that locks up your hand in that way.
Exactly, very true. So we are seeing. Okay. Neither player having the best hands this game, I feel.
No.
You know, you're seeing a lot of 2s and a lot of 3s. Because you can get 4 here of shadows, but not really the shadows you want to see right now.
Could go shadows, life for a life on the Dust Imp, take out the Ludo.
I was just thinking that, yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe play out the Miasma just to get the Ember pip, but.
Yeah, I think you hold the Miasma maybe to set up the TMTP, but you could do that with the Lash.
I just think the problem with that is that you don't want to be taking another Shadows turn after this turn, I feel. Which is why I just like throw out the Miasma and hold on to the TMTP.
He's just going to go hard into the Shadows.
He is.
Presumably going to hold the TMTP.
I would think. Interesting sacrifice the Ronnie Risk Locks. I just thought you'd do the Dust Imp there. But I suppose maybe planning on doing a Disc turn next turn and just thinks, well, I'd rather have that Ronnie in the discard. Potentially for the Exhume. Did he have 1 or 2 Exhumes? I forget.
Just the one Exhume.
Just the one Exhume.
Come and gone.
Yeah. And we are seeing the old Yerk here, and I feel like an old Yerk maybe used to hit, say, a Hideaway Hole and Golden Aura, but let's see what Quinman does this turn. I can see the potential for just going Saurian, just...
Yeah, I think you go Saurian, you drop the Faust, you move Ember onto Shallow, and then just fight it down with one of Scylla and Charybdis.
And we are going to see the Reap. I could even maybe just see moving onto Dust Imp, and then Reaping with Scylla and Charybdis as well would be an option I'd consider, because
that's always sort of an anti-Dust Imp, anti-Brend strategy.
Yeah, just gonna make it say, okay, you're gonna do this, but you're gonna I'm gonna force you in a situation. If you do this, you're gonna give me the Ember. Goes to 7, which is a bit risky with the 3 Ronnies in the deck, but isn't gonna get punished here because we are gonna see Disc.
The problem is that I don't know there's a good number to go to against this deck.
It's true.
6 won't get you there with the Lash Out. 7 is easy Ronnie. 8 or more, you're already pushing into TMTP territory. So
very true. Yeah.
You just kind of have to eat it.
And try not to go too high. I suppose actually having seen the Ronnie get Life for a Life, you've got to assume they haven't got a great Shadows hand at this point.
Yes.
So you can feel a bit safer doing that.
You're like, well, my odds of an immediate Ronnie are less.
Yeah, we're going to see the Gub coming down, and they're going to be next to, I presume, the Shula and the Old Yerk, which we affectionately called Mama Yerk in the Discord for the UK Keyforge fans. And we are going to see the Hideaway Hole and Golden Aura.
When the Baron says we, he does that.
Yeah. Got Mama Yerk, Papa Yerk, and Baby Yerk.
Hmm.
In reference to
So
the parable of the three bears. If anyone's
now is
wondering.
where you have the dilemma as Quinman. You're on 6. You've got lashed.
You
They
do.
could take an okay dis turn to stop you again with the lash next turn. So what do? How high do you go in terms of Ember?
It's a real tough
Do you,
one
do
because
you
you've got
stay
to
on
know that too much to protect is knocking
a
around, but
factor?
you've got half the deck's not been drawn almost, just
Yeah.
under.
So
So
do you risk it? I think here I would take a Saurian turn, fight the dis stuff down, and stay about on 6, maybe 7. You just
I
sort of go, if you want to take another dis turn, it's going to be a real bad turn for you.
yeah, the only thing that I'm just thinking, is there any way? No, there's no way. I was just thinking if there's any way to exalt any of the Saurians at the moment, but there isn't,
No, I don't
unfortunately.
think you can stop the key.
Because if you could, then that puts them in a situation where it's really hard to use the dis effectively because you've got Scylla and Charybdis knocking around. This is where the difficulty of like using that CSI so early came in, is because you're now stuck in a situation where you don't have that Ember control, and while holding it wasn't great either. It does put you in a sticky situation here, but we are going to see the Fandangle. I think this is smart play here. This is saying that if they are going to stop you forging, then they're going to be able to potentially put things into play ready. We do see in their hand there's nothing to put into play ready, but obviously Campos doesn't know that.
Yeah, and it just gives them like a must-kill target now.
Yeah,
So that Fandangle has to die immediately.
it does indeed.
And it will, because it currently has no Ember. So not a problem for the
No,
Scylla and Charybdis combo.
we are going to see the dis here. So going to lose one on the fight. Yep, no Ember. So yeah, can just fight to his heart's content. Maybe see something fight insta Charybdis there just to get it off the board. I wouldn't be too surprised.
It's just going to reap instead,
Reap,
take
take
that
those
4
4
damage,
damages.
and set up the Kita dis as well. So
Yeah,
that board is probably going to go away next turn, unless it gets immediately
it is. Yeah.
reclaimed.
Hmm.
And this is what I'm talking about. You just put
So
Quinman in the same situation again, where it's not immediately
question
clear
here, yeah,
what you need to
do
do
you
at
see the
all.
harvest time here and just think, well, they're all going to die anyway. I'm going to get 4 Ember for them, but with the too much protect
Yeah,
threat.
that seems like far too much of a risk to me to get 4. Would you get 4 actually? Because you've got 2 beasts.
Oh, they beast
And then
Scylla and Charybdis.
yeah, you've got 2 beasts, 2 dinosaurs.
Ah, I see. Okay. So not the best
Uh,
then. And
Purge the
Gelb's an
Lash.
imp and Yerk and Shooter are demons, am I correct?
I believe so.
So yeah, you're not looking to get too much of anything here. And we see
I know I said they're all demons.
what did Harvest Time purge? Oh, purge of course, purges the key to dis.
Yeah,
Because
solid plan.
that's a thing that it can do. And we just see the double doom to return.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a huge hit in the game.
that. And you've got to think Quinman here is breathing a huge sigh of relief, having gone to 9 and sees the too much protect. This.
Yeah, a big fist pump there.
That's
This early as well.
huge.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm. Purged. I know, not purged, discarded. Sorry, no, I was thinking of the key. But that
the
is.
game's probably going to be over before that comes back.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, with the lack of speed in both. Yeah, that's huge.
Oof, that's got to hurt. And can stir in grave. A Fandangle, maybe? A Ludo?
Yeah. I think the Fandangle would make sense. It's probably what I'd.
That's a big turning point
Especially
in the game.
with the CSI already gone, you're unlikely to have that much Ember sloshing around on things.
Yeah, you got the double Theros, but you're probably right.
Yeah, I'd rather have that Fandangle as that big threat and say, hey, I'm a witch, you need to kill me right now.
Fandangle it is. Well, that is a grim turn of events for Campos.
It really is, yeah. You
have a problem here. Do you take the dis turn, stop the key? Probably not.
No, I think
probably go Sanctum.
Yeah, Sanctum, Blinding Light on all of the Saurians, and then maybe Golden Aura to fight the Dark Fairy, or just get that out of the way.
Yeah, it costs you an Ember, but you do kind of want rid of that. but you've got to be pretty gutted right now.
Yeah, that's. I think that's the thing. Just the opponent now knowing that too much protect isn't a concern. Is more the thing because I think almost like got too much protect is obviously an incredibly powerful card. It's the threat of it changing the way that you play that kind of really affects you. Is knowing you can't go to like 9, 10, 11 Ember because of that. Whereas now he's just sitting pretty. You can do what he wants.
Yep.
And we do see Blinding Light on the Saurians there.
And they're going to forge for 6, which is kind of annoying for them.
It is.
After all that time putting them on different amounts.
So, one question here is, could we see a Lost in the Woods? Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think you might. You take all of your opponent's creatures off the board by playing double Lost in the Woods.
Yeah.
It means they've nothing to fight the Fandangle down with.
No.
And you kind of put a lot of Saurians back.
Yeah, you don't have to then unstun those Saurians. They're just going to come down ready again. You're going to heal up the, I believe that's Charybdis.
Yep.
And yeah, I think that's pretty smart. Yeah, and that means
especially.
Sorry, you go, Callum.
Especially in a deck that's so keen on stopping you from forging, you go, cool, take me off 6. Go on, I dare you.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing a nice hand here from Quinman as well. You're seeing that Dis. So if he plays any creatures bigger than 2, then we're going to see the Dis come out probably. But I think if we are going to see either Sanctum or Shadows, which I think is more likely here, then we'll probably see the Saurians just coming down, putting big threats on the board, stomping around.
I think Shadows comes down. I think you maybe put the Fandangle back in hand. It's not a great Sanctum turn with the Grey Rider.
No, and I think if you 2 off the free markets, which isn't ideal. You can get onto check is the only thing, but
okay, fair enough.
I think it's just it's a hand of not great options for Campos. Like you said, you don't want to play the Shula because it takes them off check, which means Fandangle is going to be effective.
Yeah, so just lets them forge basically,
and that's
to avoid the Fandangle.
It's a little better for Campos, but if we do see the Dis here, they can purge that too much protect. It's probably not going to come around anyway, and they've got turn to do it next turn. But I think that too much protect is
it's fully going to get purged.
Never going to see the light of day. But you're going to see the Saurians. Yes, knock them off the check.
Yeah.
Get the big boys back on the field.
Just things that are hard to deal with.
Oh, that is a hand of Dis.
Right there. And then, hey, a hand of Dis, you say.
Yeah, you'd like that? It was good, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to have some Saurians put back in it. And a Scarlet Caper whack down on the board.
Yeah, but can't be too upset seeing that Faust the Great has come back after it got lost in the woods. It's found its way out of the woods and back into the hand of Quinman. And, I mean, if he does send back those Theros Centurions, I can't imagine he's going to be too upset by the lights out because he's just going to be sending that Ember bye-bye with those Infernuses.
Very much so, yes.
Oh, as well, that Dance of Doom is going to be horrific because if you look, you've got Grey Rider 2 power, Little Nif 2 power, Scowling Caper 2 power.
2 power. Oh boy.
That's harsh. Everything you want to get rid of in a neat little bundle.
Doing a think about what they want to come back.
Yeah, I think Fandangle. Fandangle's less essential now that they've forged that key. They're not looking like they're getting to 4 Ember anytime too soon.
Yeah, but even on zero, I was loath to leave Fandangle on the board.
That's a good point. I think maybe then the Cornison and a Thero I'd probably go with.
Yeah, I could see that. Cornison.
Maybe both Theros, just get the Ember back on.
Yeah, go say, well, you can replay them. We have to play Saurian again.
I think you'd be happy returning any of these. And we do see the Fandangle and the Thero go back. I don't think there's a wrong answer there, to be honest.
No.
And we see Guard Disguise coming down. Along with a Scowly Caper. Don't know why
Maybe
he's
take
French.
out some of those. It's a very good question.
And yeah, we do see the Dis here, and I think we're going to see, that Double Doom, or Dance of Doom, rather. Double Doom's a different card completely, but Dance of Doom. Imagine for 2. We do see it for 2. Oh.
And I hope you like Infernus. because it's going to purge all your best things. So what are we
Only thing I think here is maybe miss a trick by not playing the Mark of Dis before the Dance of Doom, because
yeah,
now
now has to.
you'd have to play it on your own creatures. I suppose you're probably playing a Saurian turn anyway, so it's not too terrible doing it on Saurian, but it does tell you what your opponent what you're going to do next. I probably could have just hit something else first.
Presumably could have done.
I think there's also maybe an argument for harvest timing, say either the Guard Disguise or the Infernuses here. Either get yourself some Ember or just stop that stealing being available to Campos.
I'd maybe hit the Lash. Oh, can you get both? That's a good question.
Lash is so much less of a concern now that you've got one Ronnie's gone. The Too Much to Protect is gone.
Yeah.
You just like if you need to go above Lash, then you're above all other Ember control that you really need to be that concerned about. Is the thing. I suppose other than Charette. Have we seen Charette yet?
Did purge the Lash in the end.
Did purge
we haven't seen Charette yet.
Didn't play the Mark of Dis, just kept it in hand.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Save it for a finishing blow later.
Save it for a rainy day.
Put it in your rainy day fund.
Indeed.
Invest it in a long-term bank account with a reasonable rate of interest in return. I've become a grown-up recently, as you may know. Well, arguably.
I'm going to see both Ronnies here.
Yeah.
An acceptable Hand of Dis, but going to not want to play that Mummy Yerk, really.
Yeah, and this is the weakness of the Unlock Gateway, is that you can't play that Charette. It's going to do you no good.
No. You can play the Shula, but at this point, they're unlikely to have 4 Ember by this next turn coming around. I think we're going to see the fighting of the Lion Bountram and the fighting of the Merc the Marked. One of my biggest bugbears about Saurian, as much as I love Saurian, is that they kind of dump on Mass Mutation Sanctum because they're just a bit too big. And even like the quite big Sanctum creatures, just like Saurian's just like nom 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 nom. We're dinosaurs. We're gonna eat you. Nom 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 nom.
I think we will see a Dis turn here. I think you old Yerk, discard the Charette and the Shula, and then unlock Gateway.
Yeah, I think you do.
You want to hold on to those Ronnies, and you have to clear that board really.
I know, I'd agree with that, and just get rid of all that Saurian, especially before I don't think we've seen a Ludo come back yet.
No. But gets those 5 Ember back, puts you on check.
It does indeed. And just gets the Faust, stops your key costs being increased.
Yeah.
But I think things are looking real bad for Campos here. You know, that losing that Too Much to Protect.
That was the huge swing point in the match.
You know.
On a 1 in 6. They could still pull it back, I think. But
and we are just going to see, the discarding of, I assume it's going to have to be all these disc creatures, really.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess playing the Yerk and discarding the 2 disc creatures versus discarding all of them is the same. A little bit less flair, but it's hard to hold that.
There we
Holds onto the Charette and the Shula.
Interesting. I think that's fair enough. I guess you're kind of hoping that Quinman seems to have not got any dis in hand.
Yeah, thinking
it was a bit risky.
Thinking that you need that Ember control.
You're going to see the Fandangle coming down with the 2 Gloriana's attendants.
Yep. And not a great Untamed turn.
That's a nasty dis hand for Campos to run into. And you let some dis come back. Oh, no, it really is, because you're going to be able to play that Break Key and then have both Infernus and Brabble come in ready.
Yes, you will. Sort of out of nowhere as well. And hit them with the Mark of Dis.
Yep. If you want to just stick him in Dis, which I think you're going to not be too unhappy to do here.
Because you can't quite get to check now. It doesn't quite work. Actually you can, play those 4 pips, and then they come in ready.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you just do. You just play the 4 pips, mark a Dis, into Dis, reap twice. I don't think there's any more Ember control in Dis at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I don't think there is. And you can presumably work that out.
One can assume. Well, I mean, I think it doesn't matter whether you work it or not, because I can't imagine you're playing Mark of Dis on anything other than this
Yeah, so
here.
you take a punt.
Yeah, it's just whether I suppose it's whether you reap with Infernus or Brabble, or you maybe go hedge it a bit, hit it on the charrette, run the Brabble into the just run the Brabble into the charrette actually, make them lose an Ember, and then reap with the
Yeah, I don't
Infernus.
think I don't need to do that because you're just going to play Infernus and purge your own break key.
No, use might as well just to kill the charrette really. Oh right, yeah, Infernus to put. Yeah, I forgot about the bit about Infernus. Just
Yeah. It also has like a thing.
Yeah, it also just isn't just a creature that comes.
Casually make your opponent.
Isn't just like a slightly worse Bonesaw. It actually purges things too.
Quite big on the Ember. A disconnect.
It reconnected immediately. You're not gonna let this game slip through your fingers.
No, it's back.
And I think you might as well just fight the Brabble into the charrette. Oh no, just reaps. Fair
Common
enough.
motto.
That
ABC.
works too.
Always be checking.
No, my motto is always be fighting. If you can fight, you should.
We play Keyforge very differently.
We do.
And I'm definitely the majority, as much as noticed. But then you do a lot better than I do, so who knows?
It's a lot better.
A bit better. But this is going to close out the game. No Ember control in hand.
No Ember control at all.
Mark of this into the last house that they picked.
It's unfortunate because that hit on the
obvious move.
Yeah, that too much to protect though just really kind of. It was like just kind of stabbing the proverbial knife into the balloon. Just kind of took all the air out of it.
Well, that was it.
Really.
Like that was the game. That was easily the game-winning hit.
Yeah.
Because obviously it disrailed that entire plan, and they had that lock in really nicely, where they were keeping them off with the lash, whilst also having the TMTP in hand, ready to punish big.
Yeah. And they were on 9 Ember at the time as well. It wasn't like they were on a small amount of Ember either. That was going to be a big, quite a good, too much to protect a hit. You were going to be very happy with it. And just kind of. And
they, as a result, Campos would have been pushing for the second key, whilst Quinlan would be barely on the first.
Yeah.
Instead, it was the other way around. Never made it onto that second key.
Yeah, I think that would have made the game more interesting in terms of kind of more like I think it just after that it became Quinn was very much in control.
Yeah, it wasn't not interesting, but it definitely would have been closer.
That's what I mean, closer. That was more. But what I think Quinlan still would have had the edge though. I think he still had a lot of the before that we still had all the Infernus.
Well, you would say that. You said they were going to win in the beginning.
Yeah, I know. That's because but I mean, but what I'm saying is you still had all the Infernus to come. You still kind of saw Faust. True. There was still a lot to come.
The lot of Ember control was still going to come out of that deck.
Exactly.
But in the end, the random discard swung it.
Indeed, it did. Well, thank you very much for listening to what is the third game we've now recorded of this set. Hopefully you've watched all 3 and have enjoyed all 3. And we look forward to doing more of the KOTE top cuts soon. I have been David Baradron Fabulous Lark.
And I've been Callum the Good Doctor Young.
Thank you very much for listening to us here at Screech Commentaries, and we hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.